Now I want to go directly to June 24th, 2009, and ask you about the last rehearsal that took place. Do you recall that evening?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you recall what time you left 100 North Carrollwood to head to the Staples Center that night?
We were a little late. I know it was in the maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
Could be off an hour or two, but it was.
Being to the Staples Center, was it the basic security arrangement you described earlier with the multiple vehicles being involved?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you go to the rehearsal on June 24th, 2009?
Yes, sir.
And how did you get to the rehearsal?
I drove in the front seat, in the principal vehicle with Mr. Jackson in the back seat.
Okay. And who was driving?
Fahim Muhammad.
Was anyone else in the vehicle?
No, sir.
Okay. And do you recall Mr. Jackson's general demeanor, mood, that evening of June 24th, 2009?
He was in a good spirit. I know he wanted to get there on time, so he was adamant about, okay, let's go, let's get there, you know. So he was in good spirits, though.
Okay. Well, Jackson greeted the fans upon arrival to the home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And again, how would you describe his demeanor at that time? At the conclusion, once the rehearsal had all been completed and he's now being driven home and arriving home at 100 North Carrollwood, what was his demeanor?
He was in good spirits. He sometimes, very rarely, if he's not feeling well, he may want to just drive in and just wave as the car goes by, but he wanted to stop and say hi. I remember he even held small conversations with the fans. So he was in great spirits.
And that occurred in the driveway just before entering the gate?
Correct.
Okay. And when you then entered onto the property, did you see Dr. Murray's vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in fact, is that what is depicted in People's 10 and 11, the location of Dr. Murray's vehicle when you pulled onto the property?
Yes, sir. That's where he usually parked.
Okay. And you saw it that night?
Yes, sir.
And did you arrive at Staples Center without any problems or complications?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what happened upon your arrival at Staples Center?
Same routine, fans outside. We pull in under, I believe, type of underground parking. And then rehearsal.
Okay. And as you had indicated before, were you able to watch some of the rehearsal?
Yeah, I was able to watch that night. Yes,
okay.
sir.
And how would you describe the rehearsal?
Personally, I thought it was amazing. It was on This Is It. That was my first time ever seen him perform, so I thought it was, you know, the best thing in the world. You know, later he told me he just, you know, he doesn't go 100% to the show. He was just going 30 or 40, but I thought it was great.
Okay. How late did the rehearsal last, as best as you can recall?
I remember it was late, so it had to be around midnight.
Okay. And following the conclusion of the rehearsal, what happened?
The same routine. He had some things I remember. I don't know if it was gifts or homework from the tour, paper, I'm not sure, but we loaded his vehicle. He got in the vehicle, the advance car went in ahead. We made sure that everything was at the house was set up. We drove from the Staples Center to the 100 North Carrollwood residence. Straight there. There's fans outside, same fans and some new fans. And he stopped. I believe he rolled his window down and said some words. Then we proceeded to drive into the residence.
Okay. And it was a walled-in, gated residence, correct?
Correct.
So there would be, you'd have to have access and have the gates open up for the vehicles to proceed. And had you called Dr. Murray that night to make sure that he was on his way or at the house?
It would be normal if I did.
Okay.
Can't recall a conversation, though.
Okay. If it's reflected in your phone records, would that surprise you?
Not at all.
Okay. So once you arrived at the house then and got onto the property, what took place?
He had gifts with him or material with him. So I remember taking some and maybe someone helped me. Maybe Alberto or Fahim helped me.
When you say Alberto, is that Alberto
Alberto
Alvarez?
Alvarez.
Okay.
And we would proceed to bring everything to the first 2 steps. And he would usually wait for us to load everything up. Then he would say good night, and we left from his house.
Okay. And after you said goodnight to Mr. Jackson that night, what did you do?
Security went in the trailer. They do as they usually do every night. They debrief of how the day went, what they could do better. I usually don't stick around for that. I just made sure, he was in the house, the security was okay, and I left that night.
Okay. So after debriefing the trailer, then you go on your way, your shift is done, and you went home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On the exterior of the home, remain on a 24-hour basis?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I assume there's different shifts?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And they would remain in the trailer?
They would either walk around the front, opening a gate, or doing a perimeter check, but they would they're stationed in the trailer.
Okay. So you went home for the evening, and did you return, or let me ask you that, where were you living at that time? What general area?
Downtown Los Angeles.
Okay. And is that where you went after your shift, after debriefing in the trailer?
Yes, sir.
And I assume you slept there at your home that night?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The following day, then, June 25th, 2009, did you receive a phone call from Conrad Murray?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you recall what time that phone call was received by you?
To my knowledge, it was 12:13 p.m.
Okay. That's what showed up on your phone?
Yes, sir.
And was that a phone call that you were able to answer?
No, sir.
Why is that?
I was in the shower getting ready to get dressed.
Okay. When did you learn of the phone call?
I was getting out, and I checked, and I believe calling back at around 12:15 when I got the message.
So you got out of the shower, you saw there was a message.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You heard the message?
Yes, sir.
And what was the message?
It was Dr. Murray. I can't quote it exactly, but it was, call me right away, thank you. Something to that effect.
And were you asked to call 911?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you, upon hearing that message, call Dr. Murray?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you able to make contact with him?
Yes, sir.
Did he ask you to call 911?
No, sir.
What did he say?
He said, where are you? And I said, I'm downtown. And he said, get here right away. Mr. Jackson had a bad reaction. Get here right away. And I said, what's going on? And he said, get somebody up here immediately. And then...
And did that terminate that phone call?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the voicemail message that Dr. Murray left on your phone, did you document that in some way?
Yes, sir.
How did you document that?
I was told from detectives, or meeting with some people, the detectives I believe, to save all my information that I have regarding this. So it's an iPhone. The best thing I thought was just to record it. So I just recorded myself playing the voicemail.
Okay. And you mean a video recording of you manipulating the iPhone and showing the voicemail and playing it?
Correct. A basic.
Then I have I'm going to play the video in just one moment. I also have a still photograph taken from the video, Your Honor. May that be marked People's 12 for identification?
The still?
Yes, please.
Still, People's 12.
And